I hate mornings so much.
So I just got home from school. Basically, right now, and probably for the rest of the day, I'm just going to be hanging around like I have been since probably forever. So, today isn't a whole bunch of interesting. So I'm just basically going to eat my peanut butter and jelly that I just made, watch some videos, and then play Guitar Hero, which I'm sure you're sick of hearing me talk about, so I might stop talking about it.
Captures Vlogs presents Draw My Life. Well, actually, I'm going to draw how we met. Me and Zach, of course. Don't worry about the trees. I'm recycling the paper. I'm using the back. I didn't have a whiteboard. It's all going to be fine, I promise you. So, here we go. It started with... Our story begins in the 8th grade. I was in regular classes. They were a little bit advanced. It was a new thing they were trying out for the year, where it wasn't like the enrichment smart people classes, but it wasn't like regular classes. They were kind of in the middle. So they decided that a whole group of us who were kind of at that level should go to every single class together all day long. I was in these classes from September to November. In these classes, going class to class with me every day, there was another girl, and she was mean, mean, mean. She bullied me so bad. She called me everything from fat to nasty to just everything you could think of, and I had to deal with this girl all day long, and every class it was something else, and she got other people involved, and it was just miserable. So, as you can expect, I was just super upset. I stopped wanting to go to school. I stopped showing up for school on a regular basis. So, I went to my vice principal. Let's give him a bow tie. He was actually really shocked about what was happening. As if something like that couldn't happen in his perfect little school that wasn't so perfect after all. So, he and my guidance counselor, the nicest woman you'll ever meet, decided to move my classes. And suddenly, I had all new classes. I was so excited, but at the same time, I was so nervous. I had already been through a lot with bullying and everything else, and now I was going to get thrown into this new world, and what if those people didn't like me? And it was just switching classes basically mid-year. It was pretty terrifying. So, the very next day, I was to start my new classes. Now, my grades were good enough in reading English and history where I could move up to these enrichment classes, which were smart people classes, basically. This made me more nervous because English had always been my subject, and I knew that I had the grades and I could handle the work, but, I don't know, to just be thrown in with all these really smart people was nerve-wracking. I walked into my first enrichment class, which was 3rd period English. The teacher of that class had me wait outside the classroom until the bell rang and the students were sitting and situated. And then when the period started, she brought me in. Being as these kids were smart, they were super nice. Now, not all smart people are nice, but usually it's a pretty safe bet because people that are mean are dumb. And they all said hello when I walked in, as I'm just standing there awkwardly in front of them. It made me so happy just to see some nice looking, not as in the sense of good looking, but just nice friendly looking people for once. Then I saw him. Zach, of course. Well, Zach's hair is more he's got the bang going on. Not the emo bang. You know what I'm talking about. You know. I can't draw. But anyway, he was just chilling there with his 3 best friends in the class. This is where it gets embarrassing. Okay, I instantly had the biggest crush on Zach. How could you not love that face? Don't worry, like Zach said before, we're not dating or anything. This is in the past. I don't like him anymore, as you'll find out at the end. Everything works out for the best. I promise you, it doesn't go anywhere. But anyway, I knew I wanted to be friends with him. I had to be his friend. There was a neon sign pointing, here's your best friend, befriend this kid. And in a couple years, you'll be making videos on the internet and embarrassing yourself. So I got in with his friend group, not purposely to be closer to him, although that was a benefit. His friends at the time were the coolest people you ever meet, and they were like the nicest and friendliest, so that was just kind of where I fit in. And they were all a little weird. Hi, guys. And we were like a little weird group, and it just worked. But we were a little group, and there was 5 of us, and we were all really happy and having a really good year. Little did I know, Zach thought I was weird and creepy and too comfortable too quick. How rude. But with my wonderful personality and pure charm, I worked my way in there. Sorry, I messed up my hair a little bit there. And before you know it, we had taken a picture together. Doesn't he look terrified of me? I was so scary. I probably scared you to death, Zachary. I apologize. I take pictures with everyone, and sometimes I can be a little forcible about it, but I like to have all my memories. And for whatever reason, he stuck around, and there were many more pictures to come. And suddenly, we were good friends. A little while after that, we did a project with our group of friends on like Greek mythology and Greek gods, which I never could finish because I couldn't go to the next filming date. But while we were there, I got a call from my dad to see when he should pick me up, and my ringtone was Triple H's theme song, The Game. So Zach had discovered that I also liked wrestling in WWE, which he was a big fan of his whole life, and that was my in. And now we had something to talk about. After school ended, a friend of mine convinced us to FaceTime. I was cool with it, and Zach thought it was a pretty good idea, and it would give us a way to talk and share opinions about Raw and SmackDown. So we did. All summer. Him on his iPad, me on my phone, hours a day, hours and hours. First, it was Raw and SmackDown, and then it was every day. And we just started talking about everything. We would literally spend hours on FaceTime like it was nobody's business. Then we started high school together, 9th grade, and we had no classes. But lucky for me, Zach had taken finance, and he hated it and wanted to switch out. So I begged him to switch into my art class, and he said yes, and he did. And then we had 45 minutes every day where we just sat there and talked, and I complained about how stupid art was, and he complained about how stupid art was, and he did most of my artwork, and that was my year. And then that March, we went to WWE Monday Night Raw together. It was March 19th, 2012, and it was such a fun experience. It was, like, honestly, such a cool night, and it was right before WrestleMania, so all the greats were there. It was just such a cool experience, and Zach was waving around our sign, and he got it on TV a bunch of times, and it was just really cool. Such an unforgettable night. The moment I really knew we were best friends was actually just this December. We'd been really close and all, but this was our defining moment. For me, anyway. Zach might have another defining moment. I don't know, maybe I'll get him to do one of these with his side of the story. It was actually the first time I'd gone to his house, and I met his mom. And of course, she loved me. She still loves me. And I met his little brothers, who you've met, Shane and Colin, my boyfriend, of course, in person. For the first time, really. I had, of course, known them through our FaceTime experiences. And we were hanging out at his house, and he got up to go get something from the kitchen. So I grabbed his iPad. I got a look from his younger brother, like I was insane, and like I had just killed 12 people, but I did it anyway, and I knew exactly what I was doing. His iPad is, like, his precious. No one touches it. He's, like, super crazy about scratches and every little thing. It's pretty insane. No one touches the iPad. So, he came back, and I'm just chilling with his iPad. He looks at me and doesn't say anything. At this point, I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, is he gonna flip? Is he not mad? What's the deal? The whole time I'm thinking, please don't kill me. But I had a hunch. I had a hunch that it was gonna be okay. And he didn't say anything. I just gave it back to him. Said, here you go. He said, thanks. And, like, that was it. It wasn't a big deal. He had trusted me with his iPad. And that's when I knew that we were best friends. Like, that was my defining moment, because no one touches the iPad. Today, Zach is like my big brother. I got family zoned. Yeah, that's a thing. But don't worry, I don't like it anymore. There's no, like, surprise love story ending on this one. But we hang out every weekend and we have sleepovers and the whole nine. And it's fun. And he's my very best friend, and I wouldn't trade him for the world. So, oh, and to the girl that bullied me, thank you. I spent all day filming and editing a Draw My Life. So if you saw it, then it exists and Zach approved. But because it's kind of personal to both of us, I have to get his approval on it, and he's watching it now. So, you know, if he thinks it's too personal or whatever the case may be, then you didn't see it, but it was really good, and I spent all day on it. And if you did see it, then I hope you liked it, and that was kind of our little BFF story. And I am going to bed. It's like 11:13. I was up way later than I wanted to be up, but I really wanted to get that on Dropbox so that I could see it, so that I would know whether or not I can use it, because I spent like 6 hours editing it, and I'm super excited about it, so I hope you guys got to see it. We'll see. It's like I'm fidgety. It's like the moment of truth. He's either going to approve it or not approve it, and you already know the answer, but I have to sit here and wait. Good night, guys.
Bye-bye. I'll see you tomorrow. So, I'm lying here in the dark, and, Rocquel, it's like 11:30 actually, and Rocquel's like, oh, I finished my little surprise for you or whatever. Here, let me turn on the light. She's like, oh, I finished my surprise for you, and it turned out to be a Draw My Life thing, and I guess, you know, I'll react to it. I actually thought that was really awesome. You know, I thought that was a really nice video. Even though it wasn't on a tripod, I think it was actually kind of better, and I think it turned out nicely. But, you know, there's some things in there. I think there's more defining moments. I had a little bit of defining moment there. It's a little bit different, but maybe I'll do a Draw My Life video concerning the same thing. But, you know what, Triple H, if you eventually watch this ever, all I have to say is you're pretty much the reason why we're best friends. And, because, you know, before we were friends, but I don't know if we would be as close, you know, if we had nothing to talk about or FaceTime. So, you know, thanks, Rocquel, for making that, by the way. And I hope everyone enjoyed it. I know I did. I thought it was pretty good. So, you know, you guys finally got yourself a long vlog, because, you know, that's like a 10-minute clip on its own. So, I guess now I'll definitely see you tomorrow. I know I already said bye and good night to you all, but, you know, thought I'd just add in this little clip. So I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.